Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Great America Show. It's great to have you with us on this beautiful Monday in America. I hope you guys are all safe. I hope you all had a great weekend. And if you're here in the Northeast, or I guess in probably 30 other states, 40 other states in America, have finished shoveling out your driveways and shoveling out your cars from the hell of a snowstorm that we had over the weekend. They're saying that reportedly there's another one coming next weekend, Saturday into Sunday, at least here in New York, and the model looks worse than the one that we just had this weekend. So let's pray some kind of fronts mesh and somehow chases that storm off, because I'm not sure how we could deal with some more snow after not having it for many, many years, at least here on the Northeast in New York. So I hope you guys are all safe. I hope you all had a great weekend. Now let's get into some news, because chaos is still unfolding tonight in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and all throughout Minnesota, as Marxist Dem Tim Walz continues to not want to do his job. And I think it's time that he be held accountable. If he's not going to be held accountable for the fraud, if he's not going to be held accountable for allowing the daycare fraud and Ilhan Omar and all that stuff, what are we going to hold him accountable for? He's now put targets on the backs of Customs and Border Patrol agents, Border Protection agents. He's put targets on the back of our ICE agents and any other federal law enforcement officer that President Trump has sent into Minnesota. He's allowed it to happen. No questions asked. Everything's okay. Tom Homan is currently en route to Minneapolis tonight, as President Trump is pulling, and we're going to get into this, but pulling a man by the name of Greg Bovino. Greg Bovino, you may have seen him in some of the clips. He's been on the streets since almost the beginning. Bovino there. Get out of the way. Out of the road now. Hey, jump that bottom. Bovino, he's really been there with his guys from the inception. From all accounts, from everything we've seen from this man, a true patriot, a great American, and a warrior. So why exactly is President Trump pulling him from the streets? Why is he caving to Tim Walz's demand and Jacob Frey's demand to pull him out of there? Now, I get Tom Homan's on his way there, and Tom Homan will report directly to President Trump, according to the structure chart. But why are we pulling Bovino? Because it's being reported by multiple people. Nick Sorter, one of them, who's on the streets there each and every day, brilliant citizen journalist, that Bovino is being demoted, essentially, and pulled from his position, which doesn't really make much sense. He's been on the ground since the beginning. He knows what's going on, but we're pulling him? I'm not understanding it. So he's out. Homan's on his way in.
United States, I'll be here and I'm going to continue operating in your town. I'm sorry, the taxpayer's town, not your town. And that's what's going to happen.
I regret to hear that. I'll say it once more.
To happen.
You are going on. Welcome here.
Check yourself.
Check yourself.
You are not welcome here, to Bovino says. Check yourself. This is the man being pulled off the street. Or at a press conference when they asked him how many more illegals are going to be deported.
There is a number, and it's called all of them. Yep, you bet. All of them. We're not going to allow criminal illegal aliens to walk the streets and have more Molly Tibbetts, Jacqueline Nungare's, and all the other ones. I mean, you're worried about numbers. I'm worried about the deaths of Americans. Let's talk about that a little bit. Maybe Jacqueline Nungare, what her last moments were like. How come we never talk about that? And you're worried about numbers. Wait, no, hold on. Numbers? Jacqueline Nungare. Numbers, but your numbers, Jacqueline Nungare, well, actually, we never hear about her or the other thousands of American citizens. I'm worried about that vastly more than a number or a date. We're going to make Mom and Pa America safe. President Trump is, Secretary Noem is, and we're going to get them all. Did that answer your question, sir?
That's the kind of guy I want on my streets. That's the kind of guy I want patrolling with me if I'm in CBP and I'm on the streets in Minnesota. It's a man's man. It's a man who has your back when you're in trouble. But President Trump is pulling him off the street. So we'll have more on that as that unfolds and we get some clarification as to why he's being pulled. And if it's for some kind of de-escalation, I definitely don't agree with that. Because we watch what these agitators have done. And if he's being pulled as some sort of deal with Tim Walz, first of all, there's no deal to be made with Tim Walz or Jacob Frey. Anyone who makes a deal with either of those people is a fool. There's no negotiation in good faith with either of those scumbags. They're watching their cities be destroyed right now. They're allowing illegals to take over their city. They're allowing illegals who are known rapists, drug dealers, gang members on their streets. Not only are they allowing them, they're protecting them. And they're allowing all these other Marxist, blue-haired freaks to control the narrative. Because the blue-haired freaks, the nose ring wearing, butch. I put out a tweet over the weekend I thought was brilliant. It's like all these protesters look the same. The women look butch, and the men look like butch women. And it's so true. It's the stereotypical butch woman and the stereotypical beta white male who are out on the streets causing havoc. Hotels and banks and federal buildings allowed to run free as they please under Tim Walz and Jacob Frey. So if Bovino being pulled is some sort of de-escalation, I don't agree with it. And I don't think any of us should agree with it. Because you're letting them win. These people can't be out there. These rioters, these whatever you want to call them. I call them low-life losers. There's going to come a time where they've got to, get on with their business. And the funny thing is I don't even think these idiots realize what they're protesting. They're protecting Somalians who are overwhelmingly in their community doing fraud. Okay. They're protecting them. We've seen the fraud. We've seen the evidence of the fraud. So we know that they're protecting those people. Now, those people are taking jobs from their city. Now, I don't know how many of these people are actually from Minneapolis or Minnesota. I have to assume a lot of them are probably transplants who are there just to have the fun of rioting. But they're protecting them, the Somalians who take jobs from Americans and steal from Americans, all of us. They're protecting, as I said, the child rapists. As we saw over the weekend, the man who got shot. Those ICE and CBP agents were on their way to arrest, I think it was a man who was convicted of some sort of sex crime. protecting them, protecting the drug lords who are responsible for, my estimates are 200 to 300,000 people a year who die of fentanyl overdoses or opioid overdoses from the streets. They're protecting them. And we're going to cave to these people. We're going to let them call the narrative. I just don't see how there's any possible way that we allow that to happen. I want to take a quick break here, folks. We're live tonight, by the way. So if you're joining us, Rumble and YouTube, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, follow button. Please. If you're joining us on audio or elsewhere, please be sure to hit the like button. Give us a thumbs up, but let us know where you're tuned in from. Let us know how you like the show, what you think of the show. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, there's much, much more. The media has been stoking this damn fire. Tim Walz. Tom Homan's on his way to Minneapolis right now as we sit here and speak. Ted Cruz has got himself in a little bit of a pickle. Yep, the senator from Tel Aviv. We've got all of that and much, much more tonight here on the Great America Show. But we're going to take a quick break, less than 60 seconds. We're coming right back. Please don't turn that knob, that dial, click out of here. We're going to be right back before you know it. Please stay with us.
This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you that we're making it through. My employees and I want to thank you for your continued support by extending our wholesale prices on classic MyPillows. Get standard classic MyPillows only $14.98. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Only $14.98. But it gets even better. Upgrade to a queen size MyPillow for just $18.98. King size only $1 more. Get my body pillows $29.98 and multi-use MyPillows for only $9.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including my standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now only $14.98. Queens $18.98, Kings only $1 more. Not only that, order $75 or more, ship absolutely free. From all of us here at MyPillow, thanks America!
Mike Lindell's going to make a great governor. Great next governor of the once was great state of Minnesota that seemingly has turned to garbage under Tim Walz and the Marxist Dem governor, the Marxist Dem senators. And so this whole escalation now over the weekend was from this man who was out there protesting, Alex Preety. And it made no sense. Guy pulls up, loaded gun, extra magazine. For what? You're going to protest. What are you bringing a gun for? Just in case you might need it? Well, who'd you need it to protect yourself from? I've never seen a situation of an ICE agent or a CBP officer shoot somebody for no reason. Just flat out point their gun at them and shoot them. Like we're in some cartel in Mexico. Never seen it happen. Never even heard of it happening in America. Now, I have seen cause and effect. I did see a woman provoked by her girlfriend telling her, go, 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 with the federal agent in front of her car and trying to run him over. And she got shot. I did see that. I did see a man over the weekend by name Alex Preety fight with 5-6 federal agents. Drag some innocent woman bystander by her neck to the ground, thinking it was an ICE agent. Drag her to the ground. And at some point, those federal agents saw that he had a gun on him. So what are you supposed to do in that situation? Is what I ask the Democrats and the media. What do you do in that situation? Now, I've never been in that situation. I'm sure you guys haven't been in that situation before. But what do you do? It takes a split second to grab a gun out and shoot somebody. So say he does pull that gun out and shoot one of those agents. Because we already watched him grab a woman by her neck and throw her face into the floor, into the snow. We already saw that happen by him, by this great citizen. What do you do then? Are there basketball players tweeting out, NBA doing moments of silence for a CBP agent, for an ICE agent, or Facebook posts, or Twitter posts, or Instagram posts? Nah. There's none of that, because they're the villains. And if you want proof or evidence, go look at what happened when they killed Charlie Kirk. The left was either silent, or for the extremists, the extreme Marxist leftists, which most of them are, they said he deserved it. That he had it coming. That he didn't protect his neck. So it's a double standard. But nobody calls it out, because why would they? The media is complicit, corrupt, disgusting. I mean, just scum of scum. Lou Dobbs used to say, lower than a snake's belly. And they partake in all of it. I mean, they're partially to blame. Jake Tapper over on CNN, that numbskull. Guy's just an idiot. Dumber than dumb. As Roger Stone says, if he had an IQ any lower, you'd have to water him like a plant. He had some freak Marxist leftist on his show the other day who suggested that ICE will start putting people in ovens. Can't make this up. That ICE is going to put people in ovens.
I understand that, but they take people to Fort Snelling here, which literally was built as a concentration camp, and Alligator Alcatraz, which I think we can all agree is a concentration camp. Not saying they're Dachau, I'm not saying they're putting people in ovens yet, but these are concentration camps.
Okay.
I don't need to argue with you about
Yeah.
that. I understand that.
Jake Tapper didn't really have much to say there. Let him run with his narrative. No issues. It is literally such a joke. But that's the mainstream media for you. That has gotten away with literally murder. I mean, they're to blame for Charlie Kirk as well. They literally have their hands in everything. Complicity, being complicit in it, deceptive, liars, with no repercussions. And you look at their rating, and it's like, nobody's watching this garbage anyway. Nobody. So President Trump announced this afternoon, after, I guess, letting Greg Bovino be relieved of his duties of taking care of Minneapolis, they're sending in Tom Homan. Now, this all comes obviously after the 37-year-old Alex Preddy was shot. Now, Bovino, before being relieved, said the incident occurred when federal agents were attempting to meet Jose Huerta Chuma of Ecuador, who is an illegal alien, the record of domestic assault to intentionally inflict bodily harm, disorderly conduct, driving without a license, the regular repeat offender stuff for non-Americans. Meanwhile, Tim Walz responded to the incident, making no mention of the gun-wielding individual obstructing law enforcement. Said he claimed that Minnesotans who were rioting at the time were peaceful in exercising their First Amendment rights. And he declared he's creating a log of evidence for future prosecutions of ICE agents and officials who were responsible for this. Now, anti-ICE rioters immediately began clashing with ICE, setting fires, the normal stuff, as law enforcement deployed crowd control measures, the flashbangs, the tear gas, all that good stuff. It's hard to believe that this is happening all over again. Now, these anti-ICE rioters, of course, established their autonomous zone. The same ones we saw during the Summer of Love. Yeah, they're back to doing that stuff. Now, Tim Walz is under investigation. Jacob Frey is under investigation. Additionally, DOJ and Congress are now looking at Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who left Somalia with nothing, is now reportedly worth $44 million. She's under investigation by House Republicans, probing how she went from a low IQ Somali to a multimillionaire while serving in Congress. As her community stole billions of dollars from the American people. She was reportedly worth $51,000 in 2023. The estimate now sits at, as I said, $44 million. Isn't it nice? Isn't it nice? I say it all the time. We should all just become congressmen, members of Congress. It works out. So now Tom Homan's being sent in. And Governor Walz is a little nervous. As he should be. President Trump put out the following message. I'm sending in Tom Homan to Minnesota tonight. He's been involved in the area, has not been involved in the area, but he knows, like many of the people there, Tom is tough but fair and will report directly to me. Separately, a major investigation is going on with respect to the $20 billion plus welfare fraud that is taking place in Minnesota, at least partially responsible for the violent crime and organized protests going on in the streets. Additionally, the DOJ and Congress are looking at Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who left Somalia with nothing and now reportedly worth more than $44 million. Time will tell all. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. So the Dems got to be a little nervous, I think. So Trump lets us know that he's sending in Tom Homan. And the Marxist Dems are terrified, as they should be. President Trump tweeted out the following. Governor Walz called me with the request to work together with respect to Minnesota. It was a very good call, and we actually seem to be on a similar wavelength. I told Governor Walz that I would have Tom Homan call him, and they were looking for any and all criminals that they have in their possession. The governor very respectfully understood that, and I will speak to him in the near future. He was happy that Tom Homan was going to Minnesota, and so am I. We have such tremendous success in Washington, D.C., Memphis, Tennessee, New Orleans, Louisiana, and virtually every other place that we have touched, and even in Minnesota, crime is way down. But both Governor Walz and I want to make it better. President DJT. So, as I've said, if this is their way of getting steamrolled, then I don't agree with it. I really don't agree with it. We can't allow Walz to call the shots. We can't allow Jacob Frey to call the shots. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. Folks, I want to take a quick break here. On the other side of this quick break, we've got so much more to get to here on the Great America. So don't touch the dial, please, because we're going to come right back. Ted Cruz finding himself in a little bit of hot water. He's going to have to answer some questions. We're coming right back, folks. Please stay with us here on the Great America Show. We'll be back in less than 60.
Just like all of you, I had problems sleeping. I had tried every pillow out there and nothing worked. I'd flip-flop all night, use my arm for support, and fall asleep, or I'd wake up with a sore neck or maybe a headache. Well, quality sleep comes from keeping your neck straight at night. You have to fill in that space between your head and your bed. That's why I invented My Pillow. My Pillow's patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs, and it doesn't matter if you sleep on your back, stomach, side, or any combination of all three.
When I got My Pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night, and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get Classic King My Pillows for only $19.98. Queen size just $18.98. Standard Classic My Pillows only $14.98. That's right, only $14.98. Plus all orders $75 or more ship absolutely free.
Thanks, everybody, for staying with us here on the Great America Show. Like I said, I hope you guys are all staying warm out there, or as warm at least as you could, given the temperatures and conditions that we're all dealing with. If you join us on YouTube, Rumble, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, follow button. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know where you're tuned in from. We're going to try to get to your questions and all that good stuff before the end of the show. Give you guys your shout-outs that are much deserved. So, in addition to Governor Walz folding, which, by the way, it seems to be the year of the fold. Mark Carney up in Canada, he's going to have a little bit of trouble as he folded. Tom Cook folded up his chair, decided to go home. We're going to talk about that in just a few moments. But Mayor Jacob Frey, who's managed to somehow destroy Minneapolis, he, after finding out Tom Homan was heading to Minneapolis, reached out to President Trump. So, like I said, this is some sort of concession by the Trump administration, which I hope it's not. I really hope it's not. Then we have an issue. But if it's for meaningful progress in getting these illegals off the streets in Minneapolis, then I think it's worth it. Going back to the man who was killed over the weekend, the agitator, professional protester. DHS agents reportedly had their body cameras on during the confrontation and the fatal shooting of Alex Peretti. Fox News is reporting that a DHS spokesperson confirmed that several federal agents had their body cameras on during the interaction that led to the deadly shooting of Alex Peretti in Minnesota, and footage from multiple angles is currently being reviewed by investigators. So we're going to find out what happened. But my question to him is, why was he out there with a fully loaded gun? I mean, that just doesn't make sense to me. If I'm going out there to protest peacefully and patriotically, isn't that funny? You tell people to go out peacefully, patriotically protest, they do. You wind up arresting a few thousand people and putting them in a gulag. If you call for people to bring violence to the streets, that's fine. Don't worry about that. That's all fine. See how we have this double standard? Nobody says anything about it. It's because we have rhinos in the Republican Party. In part, U.S. Senator Bill Cassidy, who's hopefully being primaried soon, he's calling for ICE to be investigated. This is what he had to say over on Twitter. The events in Minneapolis are incredibly disturbing. Credibility of ICE and DHS are at stake. There must be a full joint federal and state investigation. We can trust the American people with the truth. To which it looks like he's got a little blowback on Twitter. This, by the way, sorry for the graphicness of it, but federal agent whose finger got bit off. To which the person said, domestic terrorists are dying for pedophiles. Obama was nicknamed Deporter in Chief. Just STFU. Yeah, there's he's getting some blowback. Here's his Liberty score. 55%. Get this clown the hell out of there. Get this rhino the hell out of there. Gotta go. It's just gotta go. But this is part of the problem we have. You have rhinos like that coming out with stupidity. Just utter and total stupidity. And people go out and vote for him. I mean, if you guys live in Louisiana, please, for the sake of God, for the sake of this country, for the sake of the Republican Party, go out there and do all you can to get this man out of there. He's bad for the country. I sound like President Trump. It's bad for the Republican Party. He's just horrible. And we have a few of them in the Republican Party. You got Murkowski, you got Collins. Somehow still find a way to hold their seats. And it's a joke. It's just such a total joke. Total joke. So, like I said, if you're in Louisiana, by the way, we're gonna be in New Orleans. I think the second week of February. And we're gonna be doing some filming there. So if you're in New Orleans, you live out there, give us a yell and see if we could get you on the Great America Show. Because we're gonna be doing some work out there. We're gonna be doing some interviews. We're gonna check out Mardi Gras. I think it's probably only right we do that, right? So if you're out there, give us a holler. But we've got to get rid of these rhinos. It's being reported right now, by the way, folks. I got to bring you this breaking news. So we're talking about Greg Bovino, removed from his role as Border Patrol commander at large. The Atlantic is reporting he will return to his former job in El Centro, California, where he's now expected to retire. So I hope that's not the case, because we need people like that in our federal agencies. Before we wrap, folks, and before we get to your shout outs, I want to talk to you about someone who chickened out today. That's good old Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, who had so much to say at Davos just last week. Big tough guy. They're all tough until it comes time to deal with Donald Trump. Yeah, Mark Carney said yesterday that his country has no intention all of a sudden of pursuing a free trade deal with China. Of course, he was responding to President Trump and his threat to impose a 100% tariff on goods from Canada if the American northern neighbor went ahead to do a trade deal with China, as they said they were going to. Carney said his recent agreements with China merely cuts tariff on a few sectors that were recently hit with tariffs, which is a lie. Carney's trying to get in bed with China, which is, it's so foolish too. It's so foolish. Because look what they did to this country. Not even with the withholding of goods, but look at what they did to the world during COVID, to which they've still never paid the price. China, to this day, has not paid the price for what they unleashed on the world. The genocide they released on the world as the Wuhan virus, the Wu-Fu, the Kung Fu, whatever you want to call it, they've still never paid the price for it. Not one red cent, nothing. They got away with the entire thing. Nobody has held them accountable. Okay, so there's problem one. Problem two, they are mass currency manipulators, mass deceptors. And this is who Carney wants to get in bed with? I mean, are the people of Canada this dumb to have elected this man? I mean, you had Trudeau, who I thought was horrible. It couldn't get much worse than that. But now you've got this guy who wants to get in bed with China, who shut down all PPE to the world after he unleashed the virus on the world. Get a load of that one. So Trump says, hell no. You want to do that? Tariff. To which Carney, Tom Cluck, folded like a cheap lawn chair. Isn't that something? Let's get to your shout out, folks, before we wrap up tonight. John, I did not expect to see you tonight. Oh, that Fall Girl. No, that's just my great fans, Kelly Song of Fall Girl. How is Donald doing? Donald's my 80-pound golden retriever, to which some of you guys have learned about here on the Great America Show. Just got ACL surgery on Friday. He's doing absolutely amazing. 72 hours post-op, and he's out walking on the foot. Now, took him out gingerly, and he's walking on it lightly, but to think 72 hours after the operation that the guy would be walking on his torn ACL and blown meniscus is absolutely amazing. So please keep him in your prayers. He's doing amazing. And another shout out to Dr. Tomas Infernuso, who saved my little baby. Appreciate it. Kelly Song, Fall Girl, you guys are great. Thanks so much for joining us tonight here live for the Great America Show. We always appreciate it. Lieutenant Governor was in administration and signal chat. Yeah, we're going to get to that tomorrow, Strafer, by the way. That's conspiracy to interfere with law enforcement apprehensions. It's an insurrection and can't label it as anything else. To what Strafer is referring to is the Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota was in on this massive signal group chat. We're going to talk about it tomorrow here on the Great America Show. So remind me, because I want to go deep into that. Was in this signal group chat, letting them know where the people were and everything. While I support the Second Amendment, it's actually legal to carry a firearm at a protest in Minnesota. Trying to tussle with law enforcement while armed is really foolish, and we should teach people to know better. No, absolutely. Listen, I'm not advocating against the Second Amendment anyway. I think you carry a gun wherever you want. Love it. But if I'm going out, when I carry my gun, I know that I'm protecting myself, my family, my loved ones, or anyone who's in harm's way. If I'm going out drinking at night, you best be sure I'm not carrying my gun with me. That's just one example. But this guy thought it was a good idea to tussle, as you said, with law enforcement with a gun on him. It just didn't make much sense to me. With extra rounds? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I just don't know what the guy was thinking and why he dragged that woman to the ground. I mean, it was so weird. This is the martyr the left was seeking and inspiring. Yeah, they're all martyrs in some way or another, and they don't even know what they're dying for or what they're trying to die for. They have no idea. The left doesn't care about the sacrificial pawn. The plaster's picture everywhere as a victim. Yeah, they don't give a shit about this guy. They couldn't care less. Couldn't care less. Surprising. Let's see. What do we got here? Let's see. Going through these comments. Some vulgar ones we're not going to put up here. President Trump is traveling to Clive, Iowa tomorrow for an event rally. Yeah, he says he's going all in on the midterms. All in. Hopefully not supporting rhinos. Hopefully. We're going to over on YouTube. Nobody calls it out. Follow the money. Hollywood is all about the money. None of them are with us. It's so disgusting. Well, in the end, that money will not save their souls. Yeah, I think you're going to bring up a really good point, Melinda. It's why you see, like, and I say this all the time. I've got very rich friends. I've got very poor friends, and I have middle-class friends. And guess what? Guess who I like to hang out with? My poor and my middle-class friends. Rich people are the worst people to hang out with. They are all miserable. We'll say 99% miserable. All they could do is talk shit about somebody else because their lives are so, and this isn't all of them, but for the most part, all they could do is talk about how much money they have or talk smack about the next person. It's like the most miserable and insecure thing I've ever seen. And that's Hollywood. Those people are just miserable. Miserable. You look at them and they're miserable. And there you have it. Straight for teach our children. There's not the way to interact with Lee. Miserable. But that's it, you know. It's the world we live in, folks. It is the world that we live in. We're now hearing from Tricia McLaughlin, which is what I said, it's conflicting orders, who's the spokesperson over the DOJ, or Homeland Security, rather, that Greg Bavino has not been relieved of his duties. So I don't know what's going on with the conflicting stories. I mean, the Atlantic reports one thing, which was out just moments ago. And now it's another thing. It's crazy. It is crazy. Let's see. Rocky. The truth will set them all free. We, the people, will prevail. Keep on trumping. I like it. I like it. What do we got here? Sorry, folks. There's a lot of comments to go through. We didn't have these problems with mental institutions. We're still around, which is why you hear President Trump talking about mental. I think that is so valiant. Because if you took some of these people, I'd say probably 75, 80% of them who are out on the streets, these protesters, they'd probably be committed to some sort of mental institutions. You know, everyone likes to compare it to January 6th, but look at who was there on January 6th. I was there on January 6th working for Fox Business doing interviews. I spoke to these people. I walked around for hours where President Trump spoke. I never made it up to the Capitol, because by the time all that unfolded, I had already head back to the D.C. bureau for Fox News. But I spoke to these people. They were cops. They were firemen. They were school teachers. They were hardworking American people who all got labeled domestic terrorists. They were the worst people this country's ever seen. Yet the left is out here parading these weirdo Marxist dems as some sort of saviors. I mean, they should be embarrassed with themselves. How are they not embarrassed? And it's because the media and how complicit they are in lying. And that's it. That is all for us tonight, folks. Tomorrow we've got Roger Stone on the show. I appreciate you guys joining us a little later than usual today. The snow stuff, it's getting everything back in order. It was, it was a hassle. So I'm glad you guys joined us tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you guys joining us. Make sure you join us back here tomorrow live, 6 p.m. Eastern time for the Great America Show. We'll be back here with some good news from the great Roger Stone. So please be sure to join us tomorrow for that, folks. 6 p.m. Eastern time. We'll see you there. Until then, may God bless you. May God bless America. And may God bless the great Lou Dobbs. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.